What's up guys, welcome back to another video. You're watching Igor Kuznetsov and I hope you're all doing amazingly well. In today's video I'm going to be discussing with you all how to get the six-pack abs. This is one of the most common problems guys have in the gym. They build a very solid physique but they just struggle to lose that belly fat and get those abs to pop. So that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video. I'm going to give you 5 tips which will help you achieve your transformation. This is what I used to look like a few years ago. As you can tell, I had absolutely no abs, no definition. I wasn't even confident enough to take my shirt off at the beach. However, fast forward the clock to now, I'd like to say I've built up a pretty respectable physique, but most importantly, my abs are finally showing. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. I'm not going to give you any crazy workout plans or any crazy diet plans. None of that. I'm just going to give you all of the straight facts, which will help you achieve the same result in as little time as possible. Before we begin, be sure to go follow me on my Instagram. I'm trying to grow my platform, so I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's begin with the video. So guys, before we go into training and diet, we first need to understand what body fat percentage we need to reach in order to see visible results. Because most people think that in order to see abs, they have to go to the gym and do these intense workouts, Russian twists, crunches, all of this crap. I promise you bro, this is a waste of time. What you need to do is first lose the belly fat that's covering the abs. Because if you have a layer of fat this thick covering your abs, how are you going to see them? It doesn't make any sense. Doing crunches won't help you. What you need to do is lose the belly fat and combine it with training in order to see optimum results. So in order to do that, you need to reach between 10 and 20% body fat. For men, ideally between 10 and 14. That's like the sweet spot when you have like the full six pack, like the one that looks really good. For women, you want to reach between 18 and 28%. So as long as you aim for those numbers, you're going to be good. It's sustainable in the long term. If you go below 10% body fat, like 6 or 7, you're reaching competitive bodybuilder levels. And in the long term, it has its own side effects, a bunch of consequences like feeling tired, low libido, a bunch of other garbage, which I promise you don't want to deal with. So try and just aim for 10 to 14%. That's sustainable. You won't have to go on any crazy diets and you'll just feel better in the long run. So guys, as for ab training, this is going to be super simple. You only need to do 2 core exercises. That's it. You don't need to do like 50 different variations of the sit-up, 500,000 different crunches. You don't need any of that. As long as you focus on these 2, you'll get all the results. They'll help you strengthen your core muscles. So once you lose the belly fat, your abs will be nice and defined. They'll pop out, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be that guy who's like skinny, he's lost all of his belly fat, but he hasn't trained his core muscles at all to the point where you can't even see them. So the first exercise is the weight-loaded crunch. This exercise will mainly help you develop your upper 4-pack, which is super important. You can do this either with a cable or you can do it with a plate. You want to do 3 sets of 10 to 12 twice a week and you'll start to see amazing results in this area. So as for the second exercise, we want to focus on doing the leg raise. This has always been my favorite exercise. I've done it since I started the gym and I've seen amazing results in my lower ab area. This exercise is really going to help you develop that lower ab area, which doesn't get much activation from any other exercises. You can do this exercise either hanging from a bar or on a Roman chair. You want to do 3 sets of 10 to 20 reps. And then once you start going over that amount, you can start to progressively overload. You can add ankle weights, hold a dumbbell between your legs. However, if you struggle to do this exercise with straight legs, you can start by first bending your knees and slowly build up your strength. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite exercise. If anything, you want to hammer this one the most. So yeah, as you start doing these 2 exercises, you're going to see most of the results, so you won't have to do too much extra. However, if you do want to add some other exercises, there's a few other options which I would recommend. For example, you can do the wood chop. This exercise is great. You can do it on a cable. It's good for your obliques, so if you find that your obliques are struggling, you can start to incorporate this exercise. I also like doing planks every now and then, mainly for boxing, but this is just more of a core strength exercise. It can be useful if you need it for sports or something else. However, it is not necessary. And as for cardio, you don't need to go too overboard. People think that you need to start running these 10K runs every single morning in order to start seeing their six-pack. This isn't true, bro. You can simply just incorporate 2 to 5 30-minute cardio sessions every single week and you're going to be fine. This can include, for example, walking uphill. This is an amazing exercise. I absolutely love uphill walking. You can set it to an incline of 10 to 15 and you'll start to see good results. You can do cycling, swimming, whatever you like. It can be low to moderate intensity. Just don't think you need to do these intense workouts. Like, you don't need to be wasting your time. As long as you're getting your steps in every single day, eating well, and doing the 2 exercises I told you about, you're going to be perfectly fine, bro. You'll start to see amazing results. So yeah, I hope you find this advice useful. Here's the workout plan. I'm going to chuck it on the screen. You can screenshot it and add it to your phone. So guys, as for diet, this section is going to be really simple, but it's going to take a little bit of discipline from you. The first thing we want to do is calculate our daily caloric intake. This is going to be very easy. What you want to do is grab your body weight in pounds and then multiply that by 10 to 12. And then you're going to get your daily caloric intake, which you're going to stick to on a daily basis. It's going to put you in a calorie deficit, meaning you're going to be burning more calories than what you're consuming. So for example, if you weigh 180 pounds, multiply that by 10 to 12, you get 1800 calories. That's what you want to stick to on a daily basis. And again, keep in mind, you have a little bit of wiggle room. It's totally fine on some days to reach 1700 and on other days to reach 1900. We're all slightly different. We're all going to respond differently to this number. So don't take it too seriously. Just try and aim for it roughly. So guys, as for proteins, this is going to be super simple. You want to aim to consume at least 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. So if your goal body weight is 150 pounds, aim to consume at least 150 grams of protein a day. And I totally understand the struggle. It's hard to hit this number. So what you want to do is prioritize foods that are high in protein but low in calories. This is going to give you the most bang for your buck. And if you're still struggling, try supplementing with a whey protein powder. It's low in calories and it has like 30 grams of protein a scoop or something. So it's gonna just make it a little bit easier to hit. Just make sure you're not neglecting this protein number, bro. I promise you, when you're cutting and losing belly fat, the last thing you wanna do is not eat enough protein because you're gonna start to lose muscle, your body will get very tiny and your abs will just look like crap by the end of it. So trust me, aim to stick to this number. If anything, this is like the most important part of your diet that you want to stick to consistently. As for fat, try to consume at least 50 grams of fat a day, and all the leftover calories you have are free calories, meaning you can eat whatever you want, for example, carbs. So yeah, that's all the geeky stuff you need to know. I don't recommend obsessing over it, just try and stick to it roughly. It'll give you a nice little estimation of what you need to eat, how much, and it'll help you lose and get that six-pack abs a lot quicker. But now I want to give you guys a few rules you want to follow with your diet, which are super simple. You can apply them across your daily life. The first rule being, avoid processed sugar. In my personal experience, sugar is just poisonous. It messes with your progress, gives you mood swings, and it's your number one enemy when it comes to getting a six-pack abs. So avoid processed sugar. If you want sugar, eat fruits. Try and get it naturally, not from a bunch of chocolates and sweets. That's all garbage. It's gonna mess with your progress. As for rule 2, try to consume minimally processed foods. Always avoid junk food and processed food because it just has an unnecessary amount of calories, a bunch of oil and a bunch of other garbage. You don't know what they're putting in it. If you cook your own food, that's all natural, whole foods. You know exactly what's in it. It's all natural. It's all gonna be healthy and it's gonna fill your body with the nutrients it needs to upkeep the muscle, keep you energetic and make the whole process more enjoyable. Like I said, if you aim for foods that are high in protein especially, those foods are going to keep you satiated. Carbs and sugar, it's not satiating. You'll always reach for more chips and more chocolates, but you'll never reach for like a third steak, a fourth steak and over because protein, it's satiating, it fills you up. So aim for high protein, minimally processed foods. That's going to be your best bet. And as for the third and final rule, avoid drinking any liquids besides water, coffee, teas, and other low-calorie drinks. That means no high-sugar energy drinks, no soda, no Starbucks Frappuccinos with 9 scoops of ice cream, none of that garbage. Cut down the alcohol, cut down all of these drinks. If you find that you're super addicted to Coca-Cola, for example, find a replacement that's low calories and doesn't have any sugar, for example, flavored sparkling water. This is a great alternative which will curb your cravings. If you're addicted to Monster energy drinks, replace it with an iced long black, which has 0 calories but has the caffeine. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find these little replacements because some people, I know it can be difficult to cut things, but as long as you just avoid those high calorie drinks, you're gonna be set. Just drink a lot of water, drink sparkling water, drink coffee, drink tea. This stuff will curb your cravings and it'll keep you satiated and it'll give you more space to consume calories from food as opposed to just drinking your entire daily caloric intake in one drink. Now, as for tracking, you can use apps like MyFitnessPal. You just input all the food you eat there and it gives you the macros and how much calories you have left. But for me personally, I never really liked to track. It just became a chore, unpleasant, it was very annoying, it got in my way, I actually made less progress. What I just like to do is roughly estimate by eye. So for example, if you eat 3 eggs and an avocado every single morning, figure out the macros of that meal, and now you can estimate. Every single time you eat foods, you can start to estimate and learn about different foods and their nutrient makeup. This is much more sustainable in the long term. I feel like you don't want to be tracking all the time. I know some people like numbers, and that's totally fine. For me personally, it wasn't really for me. I don't track any of my macros. I just roughly estimate by eye. I do a little bit of research and that's totally fine. I've made a lot of progress. I was able to get my abs using that system. So guys, we're back in the room now and we're gonna cover a few common mistakes a lot of people make when they start trying to get the abs. The first one being rushing the process. Too many people, they hop on these weight loss plans and they just want to lose as much weight as humanly possible. They go too intense, too hard, and then they end up quitting because it's too difficult. Instead, you just want to have a sustainable weight loss approach. So just try to aim to lose around 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. So if you weigh 200 pounds, which is 90 kilograms, try to lose around 1 to 2 pounds per week, which is like half a kilo to a kilo. This is just going to be more sustainable. You're going to be less likely to quit. However, if you do want to have like a rapid weight loss approach, you can obviously increase the numbers. You just want to self-adjust and not push yourself too hard to the point where you just end up quitting and forgetting about the whole thing. Ditching your diet, stopping the training, that's like the worst case scenario. So just take it slow, bro. I promise you, in the end, you're going to see better results. The second mistake a lot of people make is relying too much on the scale. Yes, it's a good indicator. However, it can be a little bit misleading, especially if you're losing belly fat and getting muscle at the same time. What I recommend doing instead is taking progress photos at least once a month in the same lighting. This will give you a good comparison of how your body's progressing and you'll be super grateful. You can even get some waist measurements and you'll have some numbers to play around with, as opposed to just stepping on the scale thinking you're losing no belly fat when you actually are. You're just gaining muscle. And to end off the video, I'm going to give you guys the supplements which I'll personally recommend to get that beautiful six-pack. The first one being whey protein powder. Like I mentioned previously, this is going to help you reach your protein targets, which is super important when you're losing belly fat. It's going to help upkeep your muscle. I personally use this one from MyProtein. Give me a sponsor. This is probably like the cheapest one I could find. They usually have a lot of sales going on. However, you can also look on Amazon. They've got a lot of good stuff there too. And the second supplement I'd recommend is creatine monohydrate. Don't ask why this bag is so much bigger than this one. It's usually meant to be the opposite. This is like a year's worth of creatine monohydrate. I take 3 to 5 grams daily and have done so for the last few years. This supplement is absolutely amazing, has so much research behind it. It's literally been proven safe. It has no negative side effects. However, 1/4 of the population doesn't really respond to it. Like, they just get no added benefit from it. So I recommend experimenting with it. However, this supplement, what it's going to do for you is going to help you push harder in the gym. It gives you more energy for your workouts. It's also really affordable. I got this one on Amazon for like 40 bucks or something. And as for the final supplement I would recommend, this is caffeine. Caffeine has a lot of research behind it as well. It's going to increase your energy and focus. It's going to help you push yourself harder in the gym. It also boosts your metabolism a little bit, which is also another added benefit. I personally don't take pre-workout supplements because I prefer to get my caffeine naturally. So I usually drink yerba mate. You guys probably know about this drink. However, I also like coffee. You can choose whatever you want. You can have tea, coffee, yerba mate. You can take a pre-workout supplement. Just make sure you don't have over 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's the daily recommended dose. Once you start going over that, you'll start to develop a very big tolerance and you'll start becoming super reliant on this stuff, which I promise you is not worth it. If you find that you get very reliant on caffeine very quickly, I suggest taking breaks from it every now and then, just so you're not like this freak who has like 5 monsters before each workout. You don't want to be that guy. You want to try and get it naturally, have it in moderation, and only when you actually need it. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this guide useful. I'm going to leave a Google Doc in the description of the video summarizing everything I went over in today's video, just so you can have it all on paper, so you can see it, you can save it to your phone. Be sure to go subscribe, like the video, follow me on my Instagram as usual, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Пока, брат.